Yoo-hoo! Matnum March 2025 part 2. So it's been quite a calm month in the last Matnum months with my computational photography. So let's start immediately with a cat out of focus. I kind of liked that photo. He was looking at me through a window and the treatment made it look cool. It's a cat that's in my neighborhood. That's pretty funny actually. And I don't know, I like the picture, so I'm offering it to you here with the treatment, which is arguable in QQ C1600. Or otherwise, it's Iceland. The middle picture, that's in a park east of Reykjavik with this concrete bench in the middle of nowhere, which I kind of liked, and the RD Pap treatment, which gives it this specific look and nerve as an insaturator, or this musician, artist, contemporary artist playing with melting ice. Great concert. So the picture was nice and yeah, worked for me. So that's what I'm sharing. Again, in the pictures, sometimes I share, it's more or less exciting also depending on what you like, but I think it's part of the photographic process to experiment and try things that seem boring sometimes, but you get used to it and sometimes it gives you ideas. And one series I'm working on is kinetic artifacts, kinetic blurs. And the one on the left, that's definitely while rolling, and it creates patterns because of the blurriness that's horizontal. And with the treatment, I thought was a really interesting resulting image. And there's a pattern with Nesca, which is an insaturator that's kind of linear horizontally. But yeah, or just two pictures through a window. And I think that's getting to London from Heathrow. So two different treatments, very different. In the middle, that's Crunchy with FJ IX Mini, and Cane Swow on the right with KDT32. That gives it its black and white and grainy texture. Actually, here are the QR codes if you want to use one of those presets in your apps. I think I really experiment a lot with the random mode because I developed those apps and I have different works that are related to the treatments I want. But I think for most users, going through Vika as a app is probably better because you can do series. It's like loading an analog film, but anyways, it's a different pleasure. Here, the tube coming out from the tube in London, the metro. I thought this black and white image on the left was interesting, or those two images of the skyline of the city. So that's London, the business district. Two different treatment really result in different feels. I kind of really like the black and white. It kind of grew on me. I didn't really like it when I took it because the black's not really black. The white is, it's kind of grainy, but at the same time, not much detail, very black and whitish. Very good. I don't think it's a very good description, but anyways, you get the point. I thought it was an interesting. I will probably reuse this preset. Or here, that's the other one was taken from Tower Bridge, and here you have the building, the historical building. That's the photo coming out of the sensor, and adding the treatment here, I think that gets something more interesting. I'm gonna work with the three examples coming up, including this one, are with Bowie as an insaturator, but different filminator treatment. I think this was really nice because it gives it this really black and white, very contrasty look, but not too dark. And yeah, suddenly you have something different artistically speaking, or this more contrasty with deeper blacks, less detail, but some grain, a little bit of color, artifactual color. So the first one, the filminator, was QQ Berg. This one is RD Bug Call 200. And yeah, this last example with this picture, that's with more details in the lowlights. It's using QQ C1600. And I think the three versions are kind of interesting. I think they tell more than the original picture. Here are the QR codes. I'm going to stay at the same place, but that's the same picture, but just slightly moving my framing to the right. Suddenly you have this modern construction, this sphere on the right. And with this color treatment, I thought was interesting. Kind of the same scene without the person walking on front. It definitely removes one side of the stories that I originally told in the first pictures. But with this sphere on the side, it gives us another point of view. And here, all those artifacts. The first picture was using arguable as an insaturator and FJ NO2. This one is Ondo with FJ IX Mini. Yeah, so many ways to tell stuff through simple pictures. And I think all those pictures that you would probably find so many pictures of the same place. If it's for souvenirs, I think sometimes you need to bring some different graphical aspects if you want to make it more personal. Also, I was working with super wide angle on those devices, modern devices. Right now I'm testing a more modern iPhone, which I actually don't like the tele lens on it because I feel it's too strong, but the super wide angle is interesting. I think it's 13mm equivalent. And in some cases, like in this coffee shop, which is kind of banal, not very interesting, you still can capture the place, the ambiance, the feeling. And with the added treatment will make it more interesting. Or I just said I didn't like the tele lens on those new devices. I kind of feel that the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max had this great tele lens, basically around 70 to 90 millimeters, which was great for portrait, for street photography. Here it's all interpolation between the wide angle and the tele lens, so the quality is not really good. But still, in some cases, like here, this very contrasty view on helicopters and this fast shutter speed. So the treatment was interesting. Or here, going back to some street photography. I'm still always in London. All those people, all those men drinking beer outside of this pub. Quite typical for London. I thought it was an interesting picture in the treatment too. Or on the right, that's a photo coming out of my iPhone directly without the treatment. I think it's kind of a boring photo. I tried to do something symmetrical. It's not very straight. But yeah, adding the filter, adding the treatment on it suddenly makes it more interesting. And that's with Geo, the insaturator, which does those water shedding, black and white, like-ish, contrasty results. I think it's interesting. Anyways, here are the QR codes if you want to play with all those last treatments. Let's continue. 2 pictures, center and left, that's London. I happened to have to go to Paris with the Eurostar, and so the picture on the right, that's Paris, but on one day. But anyways, the super wide angle, super interesting, even when it moves here with this bus, this 2-decker bus in London. I kind of think it's interesting to work with super wide angle sometimes in street and not always worry for a very well focused and not blurry moved picture. Sometimes the movement gives it more strength, as I think in this photo. Or the picture in the middle, that's a subway station in London, closed. It's not yet open. It's super early morning as the first picture. And in Paris, that's a midday in Paris, near Beaubourg. In London, that's Aldgate East, as written on the wall. Sometimes with the super wide angle, it's kind of hard to have the horizontal line straight, but on Camare, for example, if you slide the trigger up, you will have the indication and the feedback, the force feedback to tell you if you're straight. But still, the perspective is going to be hard to manage. So here I have 2 different pictures, and again, a retreatment of this image I was trying to get. And I'm happy without it being perfectly straight. I think it gives a good idea of what I wanted to take of this ambiance of early morning London. Here are some codes if you want to continue playing with those presets. Going back to Paris, I had to go for a prize a ceremony at IRCAM, which is a research center for music, contemporary music and sound in Beaubourg, central Paris. And the conference, I took a few pictures, and I thought it was interesting. Again, the super wide angle gives you a good idea of what's going on, good way of capturing the essence. And this treatment I thought was pretty nice also. Super interesting conference, by the way, really great. I had to go there I had trained some AI models for sound and music, and happily won a third prize. But anyways, I'm not going to brag about that. Going back to London, the super wide angle, again, super way to capture the essence of a very tight place. That's a small cafe where the woman holding it was Italian and making incredibly good coffee, and still you could have your full English breakfast, as you can see on the left. The egg, the beans, the sausages, the toast. Really cool place. Not the most refined breakfast, but really what I had wanted for that day, and the ambiance was really nice. And I think the black and white here gives a good idea of the feel of the place. Or again, super wide angle that's sitting in a plane. The plane is lifting off, and I thought it was one of those rare capture where you still see the lights of the city, but you can see the seat. I don't know, I kind of liked that photo. I always take pictures inside the plane, and I never use them, but sometimes there's something coming out that makes me be like, oh yeah, that could be something that starts a story. And the treatment, I think, is interesting with the CCD simulation of Camara. That's a KD Might CCD and Regert's as an insaturator. Still London, on the left again, talking about some kinetic movement and blur. This man going inside a subway station, I thought was interesting, was this reverse vignetting and this kind of black and white monochrome treatment. So it gave a good, I like the feel of this one. Or London, the streets. I think London, in my opinion, is the best city for street photography. There's so much diversity, so much people they look kind of good. I don't know how to say. Everything kind of works out. The architecture, the mix, the livelihood, and two kind of different treatments. Both are with Bomber Baba as an insaturator, but PLLRL, PLLRL in the middle, and RD Pap on the right. Here are the QR codes of the 6 latest. Still in London, we're getting to the end of this presentation. This is the Serpentine Gallery North, 2 images from the back entrance, which I thought was interesting. It's the parking lot, but I kind of like the contrast. I really like the black and white version. The color also with this treatment was interesting, with Rondi, Ribbon as that makes those artifacts, and FJ Haps 400 NX. Or simply talking about the kinetic blurring of the bus on the picture on the right, and again Arctic Papyri that creates the folding, kind of like that night picture. Or 3 more pictures of London. I really like the composition of the one on the left, with this woman dressed for Christmas. It's not Christmas, obviously. The advertisement behind was the thumbs up. I don't know. I think I really like that composition, and the bike coming on front, or the view of the city in the middle, or this guy who made me a burger early morning, in black and white, more traditional kind of street photography. Anyways, hopefully that was entertaining a little bit. It's been quite a slow month, but don't hesitate to use the QR codes that are here for your fun. And yeah, if you have suggestions, other comments, questions, as usual, don't hesitate, and catch you next time.